All right, working angle addition. We worked through a problem yesterday on Friday with respect to the angle addition problems on the worksheet. We're going to continue on with this. You're going to get another worksheet very similar to this today. The hope here in class is to go through some problems, get you comfortable, give you another worksheet. Tomorrow will be a more comprehensive worksheet in regards to, I'll throw a couple of trig identities on there also, and deal with some trig identities on the worksheet. We'll also have an in-class assignment tomorrow along with that. So we did problem number 4 with the secant of a plus b. I would like to go down and do problem number 6, the cotangent of a minus b. Because the tangents and cotangents get a little squirmish, but also with the use of your calculator. I have 2 worksheets here. I'm trying to figure out which one it is. This one with the cosine of a is equal to -4/5. Is that it?
Yeah.
Because tomorrow's worksheet has the cosine of a is equal to -3/5. So. Your calculator will help you out immensely in regards to working through some of these tangent cotangent problems. You just have to KYC, know your calculator a little bit. Let me get a diagram here. Got quadrant 1. B is in 1. And A is in quadrant 2. So those are 2 triangles. Cotangent of A minus B. Well, we don't have a cotangent formula, but we have a tangent formula that we can do the tangent of A minus B. So let's go ahead and work that. Let's work the tangent of A minus B. And with the tangent of A minus B, once we get done, we flip it over. So the tangent of A minus B, the first thing we want to deal with or work with, what I want you to do is just write out using A's and B's. If you have not done it already, please work through the problem. Write out the tangent of A minus B just using the tangents of A and B. Don't try to throw in numbers yet. Because that's what happens. A lot of people try to do too many steps at one time because they become impatient with the problem. If they become impatient with the problem, then we start running into problems at that point. We start doing too many things and we start running into difficulties. So you should have 1 tangent A minus tangent B on top, and then 1 plus tangent A times tangent B on the bottom. Remember that? Okay, so now we're going to start throwing in values. What is the tangent of A? I go up there and find what is the tangent of A. What is the tangent of B? And throw in the tangent of A and the tangent of B here. Throw your values in, looking at your triangles. James, what's the tangent of A? 3 over negative 4. And what we can do is just throw the negative out in front with that. So we can throw the negative down here, or we can bring it out front here. Okay, and then that would be on the bottom tangent of A, negative 3 over 4 there. Tangent of B, what do we get for the tangent of B? Aubrey? 5 over 12. 5 over 12. So if we take a look at what we have, okay, what I would suggest that you do on the bottom here is combine these two fractions together. So we have negative 5 times, or negative 3 times 5, which is negative 15 over 48. So we have negative 3 over 4 minus 5 over 12, and then 1 plus a negative 15 over 48. Now, as you advance yourself in the mathematical world, you look to try to improve yourself in your skills of what we deal with mathematically. Once again, we have a complex fraction. We have a fraction within a fraction. So if we take a look at all the denominators, all the small denominators, what I mean by small, these I call small fractions, and then the whole thing together is a big fraction. So if I take a look at my small denominators, I got 4, I got 12, I got 48. We want to find a common denominator between those three values, 4, 12, and 48. Well, the common denominator would be what, Grace? What would be your common denominator between 4, 12, and 48? 48. So we're going to multiply through each and every term by 48. If I multiply 48 times negative 3/4, I can cancel. The 4 and the 48 will cancel, which leaves me 12. So we have negative 3 times 12. If I multiply to my second term, the 48 and the 12 cancel, leaves me with just 4 up there. So we have negative 5 times 4. Okay, when I'm saying canceling, this is what we have. If I multiply fractions, I'm left with 1 and 4. Okay, I can cancel diagonally. Then on the bottom we're left with 48, and then the 48's cancel here, so we have minus 15. So we reduce down a fraction to make it a little bit easier to work with. Negative 36 minus 20 over 33. So we have negative 56 over 33. This is the tangent of A minus B. To find the cotangent, we flip it over. Once again, if you want to advance yourself in the mathematical world, that's what you do. You work yourself, you learn a new skill in regards to dealing with fractions. If you struggle with that, there's no shame in this. What I want you to do in your calculator, I want you, first off, have a clear line. Hit your parenthesis. hit your left parenthesis. Then type in -3 divided by 4 minus 5 divided by 12. Close your parenthesis out. You're just typing in what you have on top. And then divide by, we have to do a quantity on the bottom, parenthesis 1 plus -15 divided by 48. Close your parenthesis out. Now hit your math button, hit enter, hit enter. And what's it come down to? Do we still get the -56 over 33? There's no shame in that. But if you want to advance yourself in the mathematical world and try to get better at handling mathematical skills, you work yourself through the clearing of the complex fractions. But you can easily go through and use your calculator. You just need to make sure you quantify the top and quantify the bottom. The calculator will deal with the orders of operations for you. If you hit your math button, hit enter, hit enter, hit enter again, it will take you right into a fraction. Once again, yes, you can utilize this and clear your fractions out, your complex fractions. Okay, you can utilize that, that's fine. But you can also use your calculator to type in your quantity, -3 divided by 4 minus 5 divided by 12 divided by 1 plus -15 divided by 48. Math. Enter. Enter. And it will take you there. Any other questions you have on the front? I want to go through the cotangent one. You just have to remember once you do that, we did the tangent, we can flip it over then. If you really wanted to, you could probably write yourself a tangent one here, or a cotangent one. The cotangent of A minus B, you just flip that over. 1 plus tangent A tangent B over tangent A minus tangent B. Just flip it over and that will give you your cotangent. Or you can just remember to flip it to that. Take a look at the back. Any in particular that you would like me to go through on the back before I pick? Nothing in particular? Do problem number 10. Sine 4 theta, cosine 40, plus cosine 4 theta, sine 40 is equal to -1/2. I'm just asking you in these problems to just to solve for the two general solutions. I'm not asking for the first three positive values, just your general solutions. So, what I would suggest you do, above the 4 theta, write your A, and above the 40, write your B. So what you're doing is you're putting it into terms that we've been dealing with. The B's are 40s, the A's are 4 theta. So now, on the right-hand side of my formulas, I look for something that looks like sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B. I'm looking at the right-hand side. I have sine cosine plus cosine sine. Which one does that take it back to, Lexi? Sine of A plus B. So I take a look. My A is 4 theta. My B is 40 is equal to negative 1/2. Now we have a problem to solve. What do we do first? We have to get rid of sine. How do we get rid of sine? Inverse sine. So we can inverse sine. Negative 1, inverse sine. So we're left with, now remember when we do the inverse sine we get two solutions. 4 theta is, tartar sauce. 4 theta plus 40 is equal to inverse sine of negative 1/2. Quarter, what's the inverse sine of negative 1/2? I saw you negative in there. You have negative 1/2. Inverse sine of negative 1/2. Negative 30. We take the inverse sine, we get two solutions. We get the principal value, which is our calculated value. Quarter gave us the calculated value. Then we have to find the second solution. Brianna Hamsters, how do we find the second solution? What are we finding there? That's correct, but what are we finding? Remember? There we go, we're going to find the supplement. Now we find the supplement as we have 180 minus a negative 30. Okay, 180 minus a negative 30, so the supplement's going to give us what, Trenton? 210. So now we just have an equation to solve. Go ahead and solve them. How do I solve this? I got 4 theta minus 40, or plus 40. What do we do to get rid of the plus 40? What do we get rid of the 4? And now you calculate the period. You got general solutions, plus or minus the period n. Isaac Winger, what's your first general solution?
Negative 47.5.
Negative what?
47.5.
Negative 70 divided by 4?
Negative 17.5.
Plus or minus the period end, what's the period here?
90.
90? Because we have 360 divided by our b value is 4. So we have 90. Here's our b value. Second general solution. What do we have for the second general solution? Victoria?
42.5.
Plus or minus
90.
90 n. So those are two general solutions. Let's take a look at 9. That'll be the last one we go through the tangent. Tangent 2 theta minus tangent of 50, 1 plus tangent 2 theta, tangent 50 is equal to negative square root of 3. Once again, above your 2 thetas, put your A. Above your 50, put your B. So it's an easy little reference for you. I have tangent A minus tangent B over 1 plus tangent A tangent B. I'm looking at the right hand side. What's it look like on the left hand side, Bennett? A minus B. So my A is the 2 theta, my B is 50. Have to get rid of tangent. What do we do to both sides to get rid of tangent, Riley? Inverse tangent. So we have 2 theta plus 50 is equal to the inverse tangent negative square root of 3. Now remember, when you're dealing with the inverse tangent, we only have to worry about the one value, the principal value. We don't have to do 2 different values. Inverse cosine, principal value and its opposite. Inverse sine, principal value and its supplement. Okay? When dealing with the tangent, we don't have to deal with the principal value. We only have to deal with the principal value. So we have the inverse tangent negative square root of 3. Make sure you throw the negative in there. Braden, what's the inverse tangent negative square root of 3?
Negative 60.
Negative 60. So we can add or subtract our 50 divided by 2. And then we have to take remember back to how we calculated the period for the tangent. Yeah.
Would it be 2 theta minus 50?
Yeah,
Huh? It should be a minus 50? No. Yeah, you're right. That'd be a minus there. So we're adding here, adding here. So we have a negative 10. Is that a little better? Alright, my bad. So our 2 general solutions, Molly, what did you come up with? Plus or minus period M. What's the period here? tangent, cotangent. How we calculate the period? Was not the 360 when we remember?
Oh, that's 180.
180. Okay, 180 divided by our p-value, so that's value 2, so the period would be what? 90. Any other questions you have? The hope is, once again, you're a little bit more comfortable with dealing with the problems and working through the mathematics. A lot of this stuff, it just takes practice. And if you practice enough, you'll get used to it. You'll get used to your identity sheet, where things are at on the identity sheet, what you're looking for. Okay, the first thing you need to make sure you do here on the front side, make sure that you get your diagram up there. Okay, cosine of angle A is -3/5. I didn't get you. Cosine of A is negative. Did I get everybody then? Cosine of A is -3/5. It's in quadrant number 3. And the cosine of B is 12/13, and we are in quadrant number 2. Now what I would suggest you do, I suggest in this one, because one's right on top of the other, maybe do 2 different pictures. So you have one in quadrant 2 and one in quadrant 3. Because what will happen if you do them on the same is you're going to have a common leg here, and you might get confused what your value is. Where A is in 3, B is in 2. So you don't get confused by which triangle is which triangle, or value is value. Other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. Watch your negatives. Make sure you check your negatives. What I would suggest that you do is, once you get your diagram down, check to make sure your diagram is the same as your neighbor's. Solutions are up here then. Now we'll get the solutions posted.